As you can see, we've got a rather neglected and bit of a tangle of an apple tree, and the customer wants it reduced slightly and get it opened up, get a proper prune on it. I was aiming for sort of 30-35% off it. Time I was done, it was probably near 40%, but it was in desperate need of sorting out this particular tree. Sort of getting a good look at the tree. Some point someone's more or less just cut the top clean off in a straight line with a chainsaw, and it's just sprouted growth everywhere. Sort of going by the sort of size of some of the growth, I would say it must have been about 3-4 years ago, and whoever did it didn't have a lot of finesse about them, that's for sure. This particular job I was quite looking forward to doing, as especially apple tree pruning is one of my favourite jobs. It's not a quick job. It's sort of one of the ones. It's methodical, and I just personally I really enjoy doing them. But unfortunately, certainly the area I'm in, there isn't many left now. A lot of these sort of big houses that had the fruit trees, sort of old people die and property developers move in, and they more or less flatten the gardens. So they're getting a bit of a thing of the past around here. And for those who follow me on Instagram and etc., you'll see I've got my new toy out on this job, and the tripod ladder, and it really did come in handy on this job, really did, and I'm loving it. But if you're really interested in a tripod, check out Greg's Mowing. He's just done a review video on the tripod, and he pretty much explains everything you need to know about them, so definitely worth checking him out. Greg's Mowing. Certainly one thing I sort of enjoy about particularly this sort of job is it's nice to get the hand tools out, you know, the pruning saw and the secateurs. It's sort of it's nice to keep your skills in. Sometimes I think I do rely too much on the hedge cutter and petrol pruner, and certain tools seem to get left behind, and certainly get on jobs like these, it is really nice to just sort of cutting things by hand. But one thing I do now, especially when using the pruning saw, I actually wear a cut sleeve on my left hand, and it covers my wrist as well. I've had a few nicks and cuts over the years, and a few months ago I nearly had my wrist, and I'm always very cautious, and I always try to keep my left hand high, but mistakes happen, you know. So for the sake of 10 quid, for cheaper than the hospital parking fees in casualty, really. So certainly one of the sort of things that I particularly enjoy about this sort of work is you're constantly looking and checking where you got to cut, and I find, like a lot of jobs, even like when you're sort of straightening hedges out, you keep standing back and have a look. You want to sort of try and retain the shape of the tree, but not cut any holes in it, and you try to keep it balanced. And it sort of it just keeps your mind on the job, makes you think. at this point, sort of where I am, you can get sort of an idea how much I've cut out of there. And obviously you can see it was quite a blowy day, and at this point it decided to have a bit of a sleety shower as well, which I was cold anyway, and I didn't fancy getting damp as well though. But fortunately it did clear out after about 10 minutes, and we actually had a bit of sunshine. As well as sort of thinning out some of the bigger pieces, and where it's been cut before and it's all sort of water shoots gone woody straight up, I'm trying to reduce the length of some of the growth, but trying to retain as many fruit spurs as I could. And there's another use for the ladder. It's also very good as a camera mount. And as you can see, this is a bit of angle here. You can see how someone's cut the end of that piece, and it's just they've just chopped the end off, not cut back to any sort of proper point really, to any sort of practical growth. But it looked a fairly hard prune, and it was, but actually managed to retain a lot more fruit spurs than I thought I was going to be able to. I'm actually using my old Velcro secateurs. I've got yellow tape all over the handle because the red plastic came off years ago. These secateurs are at least 20 years old, and they're still going. They're getting a bit worn out now though. And you can see how much I took off here. Certainly having a stiff prune. And just this sort of left hand side of the tree left to do now. It looks a fairly severe prune, but there's actually more still in there than it looks. As I say, it was probably near a 40% reduction in the end. And there it is all done. And say I've retained a lot of fruit spurs in there, sort of flowers. And I have explained to the chap it's got to have a summer prune, and he does understand, and he's happy me to come back and do that late summer. And it was just a case then of chipping all the waste up. There's more waste there than actually looks. The camera's quite high up. That heap is probably about 4 feet high. I did say to Chap I could happily take the waste away, obviously for a price. But he said no, because under the tree it's all bark chipping anyway. He said to chip it onto there. And I did explain to him it's best to leave it a month or two. Just let it start to decompose before he spreads it about. And he's more than happy with that. So it's nice to see the chip sort of being used rather than just thrown in the bin. It took me probably about 45 minutes to chip all the waste, which saved me time and saved the customer money, in respect of this is right at the bottom of his garden, so it took me half hour to drag it all up to my van on the curb, and load up. Plus then it's about a 45-minute drive to the tip, and then it would be his charges on top of that as well. So the chipper certainly pays its way. It saved me time, saved the customer money. Some of the stuff I was putting through the chipper was sort of a reasonable size, and it was sort of like, I'd say 2, 3, maybe 4-year-old growth, so some of it was a little bit on the hard side as well. So, but it all went through the little chipper. And there it's all done. There's the chip. So it's amazing how big a heap of branches you got, and there's nothing. And it's all pruned. Looks a lot better, and you can actually see the lot of spurs on it. And I was quite pleased how it came out. And so it's going to be followed with a summer prune. I'm promised that one, but we'll see. So thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you.